Suit up, strap in, warm the tires, and leave on yellow. Time for the MitsuTimes podcast, presented by MitsuTimes.org, the home of the fastest Mitsubishi cars. With your host, Josh.
What is going on, guys? Welcome to a very special episode of the MitsuTimes podcast. My guest today is none other than the legend, Mr. Raif himself. How are you today, sir?
Doing very good. How you doing?
I am great. Raif, it's always an honor to get to talk to you and, being able to, be kind of alongside your team in the pits these last couple of years has definitely been one of the highlights of my life. And I just have to say, before we get into this, I truly thank you for allowing me to, get some backstage access to you and the RRT team and what you guys really do.
Oh, anytime. You're always welcome.
Well, Raif, we've talked about your world record breaking Evo 8. It's definitely known. It has been known for many, many years. But now we're going to talk about your Evo 10 that seemed to come out of nowhere. I know talking to you one-on-one before, you said that this car was just sitting at the shop and you had maybe wanted to do something with it, but you weren't sure. So why did you decide to build this Evo 10? What made you want to build one?
You know, honestly, my whole life I've been a 4G63 guy, so I really never cared about the Evo 10. Um, it came to about like 2016 or 17. We're like, I think like somebody needs to build an Evo 10, and the only reason I kind of did it was just like, hey. I'm not getting a lot of Evo 10s at the shop. Like, we're getting a lot of DSMs, we're getting a lot of Evo 8s, 9s, but not a lot of 10s. And it feels like it's a completely different market. And at that time, my buddy Jocelyn was like, dude, we should just, grab an Evo 10 so we can kind of let it just go 9s. And that's like going to be like one of the quickest cars out there. You'd be like top 2, top 3 just going on 9-second pass. And I'm like, yeah, but I really don't want one. And pretty much that's how it happened. It was kind of like we should probably just do it just to get more customers with the car. That's the reason why I bought it, and it was never really intended to go really fast. A 9-second pass was really the goal with the car.
So you picked it up and then it kind of just set on the back burner. Were you like acquiring parts during this time, or was it just kind of not really on your mind at all?
The car came up for sale as a shell, and it was in New York, like Long Island or somewhere, but over the bridge somewhere in New York. And it was owned by Aeroworks Performance, and it was like a road race car prior. And the guy had it up for sale, had a bunch of carbon, had a carbon, roof, front end. And I'm like, had it listed for kind of cheap. And I was like, I should kind of go look at this. And he had it for sale for like a year or two. Finally, the price dropped so low where it was like $2,000 for this thing with all the carbon stuff. Like the parts alone were just worth it. And I mean, it was a bare shell. Bought the car. As soon as I saw it, I got all excited. Instantly, we're like, all right, let's drop it off to Fab, get a cage. So we instantly got a cage done on the car. Like the same day the car got picked up. Didn't even go back to my shop. We got right to my Fab guy. Got the cage done. Cage guy got it done in about a month. Came back, still excited. Bought a bunch of parts. Car got parked outside. Totally got forgot about. 5 years goes by, nothing gets touched on the car. But it did acquire a bunch of parts. I bought everything for it and ended up just sitting in the corner. And what ended up happening is I ended up putting majority of the stuff in like a street car I had. And I wanted to just like, I want to drive this thing daily, whatnot. So I ended up getting the car finished. The farthest I drove the car was to the mailbox to my old shop and back. Just no time to enjoy the car. And just kind of sat there. And then I was like, all right, the new goal is swap everything to the race car. And it took forever. Lost interest pretty much. I just never thought the Evo 10 can go fast. I just didn't care about it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the craziest things to me talking to you, in the pits is, obviously for your Evo 8, you have proprietary rods that you use, and you have a special combo that you use for clutch, and a special combo that obviously you build the trans. But you said that this Evo 10 is just off the shelf parts. Anybody could do this.
Well, everything pretty much off the shelf. So like I said, all the parts that got put in this car was from my street car Evo 10. So I ended up pretty much someone came to my shop. I was like, hey, I want an Evo 10 that's pretty much stock. It was really clean car. So I was like, you know what? I'll take this car apart, put it back to like a bolt-on car. So pretty much I took everything out of the car, put in this drag 10. And when I'm talking about everything just being off the shelf, bolt on everything, like pistons off the shelf, rods off the shelf, stock crank, like basic head gaskets, cylinder head, nothing special. Everything just literally whatever you can just buy on these most 700-800 horsepower cars that we build like weekly here is what this car had. One thing that the car started off and it was the whole goal is when I built the 10, I wanted to put it on a Motec because I wanted to get really good on the motor, trying to figure it out, and eventually have that transition to my Evo 8. So the whole goal was like, all right, let me build this car, learn a bunch of stuff, because I'm thinking the car's gonna go, nines, mid nines. If it goes at 890, I'd be super excited. I didn't think it would go any faster. But pretty much when I'm saying like the suspension on this car is literally the old suspension that my Evo 8 used to run, the clutch setup that we run, the rear end setup that we run, pretty much 90% that the Evo 8 used to run and leftover parts went to the Evo 10. It was pretty much built as like, all right, it's how cheap can we build this? Because I really don't care about the car and I don't really want to go fast and I don't want to spend any money on it. It's like it's a budget build, put it that way.
Wow, that's just so, I think that makes it even more special, right? I mean, that's so cool.
Well, it was just very, very unexpected, uh, when it first got put together, finally, we're like, and the only reason the car got put together is the Evo 8 had a huge like safety like transition going on for the cage, and I brought it to my buddy at Victor at Exterior Fab, and for some reason I got a feeling it's gonna take like little longer than usual, and I'm like, oh my god, I might miss a season of not having a race car. So I looked at my Evo 10 literally sitting in the corner. It was like December or January, and I'm like, man, April's gonna come up soon, and if I don't have a car to race, I don't know what I'm gonna do with myself. So literally, I was like, all right, let's get everything together. This thing was slapped together, like, and I'm talking about like no attention to detail on nothing. This thing was just kind of like, let's just get it a run. If it runs in its own power and it fires up, maybe I'll get excited and I want to do something with it. Sure enough, this thing first time we go out to a track, it just goes fast. It kind of got my head spinning.
I mean, definitely. I think it all everybody watching and even those who were kind of Evo 10 doubters, myself included, to what you could do with it early on was kind of eye opening, and to know that it was just off the shelf parts. I mean, I feel like that really sparked a lot of people's interest in the Evo 10 itself.
Yeah, I mean, eventually we learned like the off the shelf parts work, but there's a limit to them. Like, the car ended up, I believe the first time out, we ended up breaking a lot of shifter cables. We couldn't figure out how to get the strain gauge to work on the Motec. There was some weird, like, glitches going on with the software in there. So, me manhandling the shifter, I would keep breaking shifter cables. So, like, the car didn't make a full hit for like 5 times in a row. It was kind of launch it, hit second, break the shifter cable. Eventually, I said, you know what, screw this. I'm gonna disable the strain gauge. I'm gonna just drive this thing like I drive a regular street car, and I ended up going 830 first pass out. That's when I was like, holy crap, this thing is gonna go fast once I get it dialed in. Um, and pretty much things just kind of took off from there.
For sure.
And who would have thought an Evo 10 can do what it does? But the fact is, all the off the shelf parts. If you wanted to go 850s, sure. But once we started pushing it to like, making that 1400 horsepower range off the shelf parts, that's when we learned quickly. All right, engines are not staying together, and we popped quite a few of them in the beginning.
Well, you certainly made me a believer, and I know a lot of other people kind of opened our eyes to say, wow, these things really are capable in the right hands.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely.
So you talked about running that 830 real early on. Did you think after that 830, like, oh shit, I think we could be number one in the Evo 10 list with this car?
Absolutely not. It was like, no way we can go number one with this car. I knew that was way too far and out of reach. Um, I had a feeling there might be a 799 pass out of it, but I was like, no way this thing can go break the record, which was, I believe was a 777 or 775. I don't know what English had back then. Um, but no, and not it wasn't even a goal. I was like, even if the car goes a 790, I don't want to push it. I don't want to like figure out all the weak links in the car and all that. And obviously that kind of took over.
Well, Rafe, talk us through the setup. What's going on with the engine and turbo?
So currently, what we do is we finally figured out like the weakest part in the engines is basically the rod. So what happens is, and I believe English was doing this a long time ago, and they kept talking about it. I never took them serious what they meant about it until I had back to back engine failures with the rods, and they both failed exactly the same way. Is basically the Evo 10 has a huge rod journal diameter. So what happens is you cannot get a rod big enough where the big end of the rod has enough material on the transition between the big end and the small end of the rod. So what happens is, you can't make it any beefier because it won't go inside the cylinder bore. And the reason is because the cranks get way too big of a rod journal diameter. So you're gonna keep snapping the rod at the same exact spot, and this started happening at about like 1,400 horsepower on aluminum rods. So we had to custom cut the crank down, which is still a factory crank. We just cut it down to a smaller journal, which what English racing used to do back in the day. Um, I didn't understand why it needed to be done until now. I kind of got it. I'm like, all right, this is why it needs to be done. So basically, that's the weakest part of the whole engine program. Until that got figured out, everything's good. But now it's just basically off the shelf R&R rods with the smaller journal. Nothing crazy about them. We still are running an off the shelf mainly piston in it. Cylinder head consists of a GSC, everything in the head. And as far as turbo wise, we were running Apex 76 millimeter in the turbo. And then as far as transmission, we have like a PPG trans that's really not designed for a drag car at all. Actually, PPG was like, do not push past 800 horsepower on this thing because it's not a hold. We make double that. And again, it was one of those transmissions that was like, all right, here, we'll sell it to you really cheap because it's probably not going to work and you're going to break it. And we bought it because we don't want to spend money on anything crazy for this car. Put it in the car. This thing's been the most reliable transmission I ever owned. So it works really good. As far as everything else, it's pretty much simple. Twin sets of 2600s in the car, mechanical fuel system from Magnus Motorsports, intake manifold from Magnus Motorsports we got in the car, and obviously I think the best part in the car that runs everything, that kind of gets everything together and makes everything smooth, is the Motec ECU from John Reed.
Sure, for sure.
Yeah.
And Rafe, is this car running one of your like custom combo clutch kits?
This one is actually still on the Quadmaster clutch. We do have the tilt and clutch for it. We just haven't had a chance to kind of switch it over yet. We haven't had a failure with a Quadmaster on this car since it doesn't make crazy amount of power like the Evo 8, but it is probably going to go in this year. Yep.
Well, I know a lot of people like to, kind of compare the two whenever you're campaigning both cars at the same time. I know it's a big workout for you to have to jump from one car to the other, but I want to talk about how different setup wise the Evo 10 is from your famous Evo 8.
I mean, I would say completely different. The Evo 8 is like a full blown drag car. The Evo 10 to me is like a joke. It's it's not taken seriously, put it that way, or I don't take it seriously. So like, there's nothing. I haven't spent enough time for me to be like, all right, this is like my pride and joy. They're completely different cars. Like one is like, you know, kindergarten, and the other one, graduated, college with a master's degree. Put it that way. Completely two different cars. The 10 is like hop in, have fun, don't care about it. The 8, like we spent a lot of time before that car goes to the track. The 10, just you just turn the key, just drive it. We don't care about it. We don't do anything with it, and I don't know how it goes fast. To be honest, I don't know.
Well, I'm glad that it does for sure. And Rafe, you broke the 10 record, number one spot relatively quickly. I mean, it felt like only a handful of times out with the car. boom, you're number one, or at least up there in the 7 seconds already. Once you got the car together and started bringing it out, were you surprised at how quickly it progressed? I mean, you talked about earlier, you thought only a 799 was possible, but were you it just surprised about how quickly it was progressing?
I mean, it definitely caught me off guard. I didn't think they would ever break the record. But then, I guess I'm not giving myself enough credit. It's just what I know with the Evo 8, everything gets transitioned to this car. So basically, every single little like trick we do with the ECU, the launch strategies, the way we tune the car, the way the boost comes in, the way the car leaves, the way the power comes in, everything gets put in. Like, I mean, even the way the suspension set up. So like I think everything I've learned on the Evo 8 just kind of transferred to the Evo 10, even though it's a different engine. It's very, very similar on the platform or the chassis itself. So I, I am surprised by, from what other people are telling me, they're around me, they're like, well, yeah, of course it's going to do that. Like, you're doing it with the Evo 8. So I guess yes and no. Hard to answer, I guess.
Okay, I think that's fair enough.
Yeah.
But Rafe, now that you've gone down this road and built this Evo 10, uh, why, in your opinion, knowing what you know now, do we not see more 7 second Evo 10s or even low 8 second Evo 10s?
Um, Well, I think everyone had the mindset like me, like there's no way it should do it. It's impossible, or it's really hard to do, or it costs way too much money. Um, I've been in the, works with quite a bit of customers right now. They're in the process of building, so I think there's gonna be like two or maybe three of them guaranteed eights, and there might be one that's actually going to go seven. So we got a guy that's pretty serious that we're sold him a lot of parts. Um, so it might. So I don't know. Maybe it'll wake the people up to start building these tens. But I can promise you, end of this year or next year, you'll see quite a bit of more of them for sure.
Good. I'm very excited about
Yeah, they're definitely going to get more popular, and that was kind of the goal. What we wanted to do, because I mean, it's very hard to find some clean Evo 8s, and if you want something different, people really are sleeping on the Evo 10s because they're much cheaper to find, much cheaper to find clean ones, and the build itself is probably a lot easier to find parts for. Like, you can still find engines, trannies, bunch of stuff for them, and same engines went in the rally yard, so like they're all over the place. You can find stuff everywhere, so parts are a lot easier to get by.
and your chance, like you said, Rafe, the chances of you finding one that's not as built of as an Evo 8 or an Evo 9 is probably gonna be a lot higher.
I think it's gonna take a couple of years, and I think people are gonna catch up, and people are gonna start building some serious Evo 10s. It doesn't take much more. I mean, the engine itself does make more power. It's a better engine in general than the 4G to make power. Now, it's not as refined in the 4G. I mean, people have been building these 4G since, man, 30, 35, whatever years, man, since 1990. Um, so the 4B11 is fairly new. It's not, people haven't developed the parts for them, like the technology for the engine itself, but like the motor, it's a decent engine. It just, people need to just come together and just like refine it.
Well, Rafe, I know the Evo 10 didn't get as much love in the 2025 season, and I feel like that's probably more so because you were really focusing on the Evo 8 and setting that mile per hour record and trying to push it even further. So, is there any events that we can for sure see the Evo 10 at in action this year?
Well, the Evo 10 is, should be out at Wildland Valley in August. We're gonna try to make it to the shootout, and it's definitely gonna be at World Cup finals. Um, and again, like, we just, we really need to spend more time. Like, we always say, like, hey, the only way the Evo 10 is gonna get more time is we're gonna retire the Evo 8, and it's a tough decision to do that. Like, the Evo 8 just takes too much of my time, and I just want to go a lot faster in the Evo 8. And then the only reason the Evo 10 gets raced is like, all right, we're going to the event that's far, and I want to take two cars in case one is kind of like giving me the headache, so I can go with the other one. Um, but it's never a priority to go race the Evo 10 versus the Evo 8. That's the only downfall with it. If I were to retire the Evo 8, I think the Evo 10 can go quicker and faster than the Evo 8 eventually.
Wow.
Yeah, there's definitely a much more potential, I think, for the Evo 10 with if I put the blood, sweat, and tears I do with the Evo 8. The Evo 8 just takes too much of my time, unfortunately.
That says a lot coming from you.
Yeah, it really does. It's I mean, what is it right now? 5:45. Guess what? Right now we're working on the Evo 8 because we're trying to get to a track next week. So once we're done with this podcast, I'll be back in the shop floor and again trying to get the Evo 8 back together through the beginning of the season.
That's good though. I'm glad that you're already out testing.
Oh yeah, we're gonna be out next week, hopefully, if all goes well, you know.
This episode of the MitsuTimes podcast is brought to you by Kigley Racing. Kigley Racing is home to the world's quickest and fastest front-wheel drive Mitsubishi. Kigley Racing produces the original 4G63 Beehive valve spring and other exclusive race-proven 4G63 engine and drivetrain components for the DSM and Evo. Kigley's only acceptable quality outcome is the most reliable and highest performing parts and systems on the market. They have been a pioneer in the Mitsubishi performance community for nearly 30 years. They have what you need to make your Mitsubishi fast as well as reliable. Check out all their products at KigleyRacing.com. Well, Rafe, I know you said that when the Evo 10 is out, it's just one of those things where it's like, well, if it happens, it happens. But do you have any plan? Like, is there any goals for the season, for the year, of maybe pulling that record down even further?
Yeah, so it all because honestly, so it all comes down to safety with the car. The car was not built to be going this fast. So the car was it's a basic 850 cage in the car. It's just really unsafe. The whole like, it's just it does have the same suspension as Mevoy, but it's not really set up. We don't have really everything exactly like they. So like it really tracks all over the track. It's just doesn't track straight, doesn't go nice. It's kind of, to be honest, it's scary. It's a handful to go down the track. It's not a safe car, and honestly, it's just because again, don't spend enough time with the car. So pretty much in this season, the car's getting a full overhaul. You gotta remember this car still has power windows. It's basically could be a street car if you wanted to. I mean, it's everything's there. It had full glass. So I finally bit the bullet and I say that's it. We're gonna literally cut the car up, put Lexan in it, do a nice cage in the car, do a nice 750 cage in the car. So gonna take it a lot more serious. I mean, the goal for the car again depends how much time Evo 8 takes away from me this season. If the Evo 8 doesn't kick my butt all season and goes fast right off the bat, we're gonna put the Evo 8 in the corner, race the 10. But the goal for the 10 would be to go like a 740 at like 200 miles an hour. We like want to break the 200-mile-an-hour barrier with the Evo 10, which I think is doable. Again, we might come to some hurdles. Who knows? I don't know. No one's done it, so I don't know what are really gonna come up to like have to achieve that goal. It might be hard, it might not be. I don't know.
Rafe, you talked about taking some weight out and, like you said, taking the glass out, adding Lexan. Is there any changes to the engine transmission clutch setup for?
No, we're gonna keep the same engine, same transmission, same everything in the car. Even last year when we were at World Cup, when we ended up going seven, I believe it was a 69. Now the current record we just did. It's got a lot more in it. It really comes down to safety. The car just, if you look at it, it just does not go straight. It's pretty sketchy. So once we get that figured out, we can throw a little bit more power in the car. I think it'll just go quicker just from that. We don't really need to change anything in the engine program, transmission, or even in the turbo setup. And we're gonna try to keep it in in the limited street class for World Cup. So hopefully the rules stay the same and the car will fit there. So we'll leave it in the 76 millimeter turbo. Now, if the rules do change and all of a sudden we get kicked out of that class, screw it. I'll put a big boy 86 in it and see what it does.
Well, Rafe, is there any type of pressure? Like, do you feel pressure being the guy with both Evo records?
Yes and no. I guess it definitely puts a target on your back. There's people that are always gunning for you, I guess. Um, and I see all these people online. Oh, I'm gonna go for that record. I'm gonna get that. Go for it. More power to you guys. That just gives me more, competitive edge of myself. It'll give me a little bit more motivation. Um, it's a good feeling to be up top, but like at the same, like, if somebody wants to, put the time and effort like I do and want to compete with us and, try to give us run for our money, go for it. Kind of makes me happy.
Yeah, and getting to know you as a person, I feel like if more people were out there kind of chipping away at the second place and getting close to your record, you would bring the Evo 10 out more.
I would, and this is why I talk to English and Miles all the time. I try to have them bring the Evo 10 back out, but I don't think they will. So I wonder if someone else is gonna build one. I mean, we do have a customer of ours that's trying to go fast. I'm not sure if he's gonna go record territories, but might go for the number two spot. But again, the number two spot is really close between English and us, so it's still tough. So maybe a 3 or 4 spot, I would say. Um, but it would take someone completely out of the ordinary that we don't have no involvement with to get me like really fired up to be like, all right, someone's trying to beat me, I'm gonna go a lot faster.
Yeah, and obviously, Rafe, you could retire tomorrow and not hit the track ever again, and RRT's legacy is set in concrete. It's going to be there forever. But what motivates you to keep going out to the track and keep pushing these cars and keep breaking your own record over and over?
I just love what I do. This is my passion. It's like winters are the most depressing time of my life. Once spring comes and the tracks are open, like I am happy. Like I look forward to it. I don't know. It's. I grew up like this. I don't know. I just love going to a track and going quick, no matter what. I don't know. I don't know if it's something to prove myself or whatnot. I can't answer exactly, but it's some people like to go to the bars, go to parties, do some crazy stuff. I just like going to the track. That's my hype.
Well, I'm certainly glad that it is because it has made some amazing moments of my life and the Mitsubishi community as a whole.
I appreciate that. I appreciate like as long as I can keep wrenching on my cars and keep getting myself to the track and I keep drive down the track, I'll be racing till I croak.
Well, we hope that time is a long time away.
Yeah, let's hope so. I don't know. The way I'm moving and going, I don't know. Hopefully. I'm always go, go, go. That's the issue.
Well, Rafe, let's say that I have a 9 low 10 second Evo 10, and I'm hearing this podcast and I'm saying, "Fuck it, I'm gonna go after a low 8 second, high 7 second with my Evo 10." What advice would you give me other than just drop it off at RRT Motorsports?
I mean, you just gotta make sure you're aware of what you're getting yourself into. Um, you know, you can see that I do it and it didn't cost me much to do it. It's because I do everything myself. But like, you gotta just make sure you can afford this, and you just gotta be okay that there will be failures and stuff is gonna break, and it's not gonna be always a successful outing. So you just gotta make sure you have the money to support your habit and it's not gonna get you in trouble like spending everything you got. And just gotta make sure you're a little bit of handy at yourself. If you want to try to have a 8 or a 7 second evo, no matter what, you can't be paying somebody to be working on it for you. You gotta be mechanically inclined, you gotta know what you're doing, and you gotta be able to do things yourself a little bit. You gotta have a little bit of common sense. And then obviously you gotta get yourself behind a good shop, like somebody that knows what's going on, someone that's done it for you, even if it's not us, somebody else, if it's across the country that can help you out. But there's got to be someone that can put you on a nice plan to good to get things done. And people just forget, like, you want to try to go eights or sevens, you better have backup of everything. You have a backup engine, backup transmission, backup pretty much everything, double of everything. If you don't, you can do one time glory run, but that's about it. It's gonna be hard to be competitive with it. Put it that way. You can go have fun once or twice, but not longevity. It's just not the right platform to put one engine and think you're gonna go sevens and do it 50, 60 times in a row. That's never gonna happen. No way. Something's gonna break.
That was one of the most eye-opening moments for me is being able to be in your pits at World Cup and see in the trailer there's 2 and 3 and engines ready to go, transmissions ready to go, and
Mhm.
axles and everything to build a whole nother car if you had to, and not to mention pieces of different kinds of clutches to just to make the car happy.
Yeah, yeah. People don't realize what it really takes to do to go fast. And if you want to be serious and try to break world records, you gotta have double, triple, quadruple of everything. And when you go on a track, like you said, like you gotta have enough to rebuild a whole entire car. And when we go to a track, like Nick will be with us or Median will be with us, and then we have other people. So like, there's literally enough parts to put like 3 cars, 4 cars together. Like we bring everything, and you don't need to, but like if you want to go break records, chances are doing it with 1 or 2 or 3 passes or with one outing, it's going to be impossible. I mean, it could happen, I guess, but if you really want to go fast, you got to go below a motor, below a transmission, break 3, 4 clutches, like a couple of transfer cases, and then you got to be able to do it at the track and then go back out, and you got to have your momentum going. You got to can't lose the flow. Just like if we go to a track next Friday and like the car goes good, all of a sudden, boom, something breaks. We got a good 8th mile. Guess what? You want to get the momentum rolling. Like either like we fix it at the track or we get it back to the shop, fix it, and we go back out within the next week. Like we don't want to like wait a month or so to go back out. We go back out there again. Now, I feel like I'm a little overboard with myself, but I do this because I really love racing and I can't be at the track break and then just sit down and respect it. I just can't do that. Like I gotta keep myself busy and do something. So that's why we bring everything, and that's why I surround myself with the same crew. Like Median or Nick, we're the same type of people. Like they'll do the same thing, and they know it. Like when they first started racing, they would be like, "Oh, what are you doing, dude?" And now they're just like me. Like they know what it takes. Yeah. It's crazy, and we're really dumb for what we do, put it that way. Like it's the dumbest thing we ever do, but I guess you could do worse things in life.
Absolutely.
Right?
Well, Rafe, I thought it would be fun to kind of compare the two cars. So the first question is, which car is more fun to drive, the Evo 10 or the Evo 8?
Well, the 10 is definitely more exciting. It's more thrilling, I should say. It's because it just goes all over the track. Uh it's I don't know. It's one of those cars you just kind of hop in, you turn the key, it's still got a regular key in the car, you just start it. It feels like a street car. It's normal. The 10 to me like doesn't like it's weird. It scares me, but it doesn't scare me. It scares me in a different way because it's just all over the track, but it's fun to me. I don't know if that makes sense. To most people, will be like, "Oh my god, what are you doing?" But to me, it's completely different. Like the 8, like I'll go 210 miles an hour in the 8, and I'm just like, yeah, that like felt a little slow to me. Like it's weird. I don't know. It's because I'm used to it, but the 10 gives me a more of a thrill. I don't know. I don't know why, but it does.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So would that make the Evo 10 also harder to drive of the two cars?
For an unexperienced guy, yes, the 10 I would say it's a little harder. And again, it's not just because it's the 10 versus the 8, it's just because my 10. Like I don't know. There's just, like it's I haven't spent enough time with it to make it like track straight. Uh but the 10 is, I don't know, it's just thrilling. I don't know how to explain it. Anyone can jump in the 10 if you have the balls to drive it, put it that way. The 8 is like the 8 will be is way more intimidating at first because you'll be like, dude, I don't want to drive this thing. um if you didn't see like if you haven't watched all my passes at a local track on the 10, you would hop in the 10 no problem. But if you've seen some of the passes, how sideways it's been, you'd be like, I'm never driving that thing ever. Like I had a buddy of mine like, oh yeah, I'll drive the thing for you at World Cup because I don't want to drive 2 cars. It was a little too much for me. And then we tested it right before World Cup. The thing went in the other lane a couple of times, and he's like, nope, I'm not driving that. And this is a guy that's driven quite a bit of fast cars. Um, and then, of course, right when I brought it to World Cup and I rolled a 7-7 right out the trailer, he goes, I'll drive it now. I'm like, yeah, because it went straight one time. Like, come on. But yeah, I don't know. The 10 is just exciting, put it that way. The 8 is, I don't know. The 8, I'm very used to it. It feels more comfortable. The 10 definitely gives you a thrill for sure.
Yeah. I mean, the 8 must feel like home at this point.
The 8 does feel like home, The 8 is The 8 scares me more before I get in it. Once I'm in it, I don't care. The 10, I'm like, oh yeah, we're taking the 10. I don't even worry about it at all. But once I make a first hit, I'm like, wow, I shouldn't race this anymore. It's crazy.
Well, Rafe, of the two, which one is more expensive to maintain and keep being able to go back out on the track?
I would say it's hard to say. The 8 is definitely way more expensive. The 10, usually when there's no problems, we really don't do anything to the 10. We barely even look it over. But that's at this current power level. You're comparing a 190-mile-an-hour car versus a 210-mile-an-hour car. So the 10 is way cheaper to race at this level versus the 10 versus the 8, my bad. Now I feel like once the 10 gets a little bit more power into it, I think they're going to be about the same headache. Um, let's say we turn this 10 down like 100 horsepower. I think it would be really fun car where pretty much won't break a lot. I put it that way. It'd be a lot of fun.
It'd be a
But
car that
who wants to go 8-0? you know?
It'd be a car that could just go rounds and you could rely on it.
Yeah, I feel like what I know with it right now, if I built an 8.3 to 8.0 Evo 10, it should go rounds. It should be about maybe a season where you have to refresh it. Versus my Evo 8, like we got it down to like I think like 15 passes where we have to take it apart, and 15 passes is quite a bit. Where years before this, when the car was going like 195, we're taking it apart between 5 and 10 passes. So we've gotten a little better, and it's actually quicker. But again, we've developed some crazy new parts for the car where it's staying together a little better.
Yeah, and I think it was the last shootout or maybe the year before last. I heard, I've heard people saying, you could always count on Rafe to either make a good pass or break at, towards the end of the tournament. But nowadays you can't because the car's been staying together. The eight's been staying together more and more.
Yeah. I mean, there was, we've had every failure possible in a car. Like, if anyone's had everything failed in their life and everything possible literally in that car, from engine, trans, TKs, rear ends, axles, drive shafts, like things that no one's ever broken in the 4G63 Evo community, I have broken it, put it that way. So, and every time something breaks, we try to fix it and make it stronger. And it takes time. The problem is, like, you find that one weak link, you fix it, it takes a year to get that one part developed, and then once you get it fixed, the next weak link comes up because that one holds together, and now something else breaks. And you're like, oh my god, and it's constant chasing your tail. Um, but I think we're getting to the end where like things are kind of staying together, which is kind of awesome. If I just turn the power down a little bit, we can have a very competitive car where you can service it once a year. But again, that's not me. I want to go fast, so I don't care. I want to keep pushing the envelope and break everything. I don't care.
Yeah, that's for sure not you to play it safe.
Yeah, yeah, I don't play it safe. I don't care. Like, if you don't own me, like if I'm lining up somewhere at the track, there's no such a thing as me having my car down. If I'm at the track, it's always to the kill. It's always turned all the way up. It's never on testing mode. It's always to the kill.
And if for anyone listening who somehow doesn't know you, even if you have a buy run, you're gonna fucking send it.
Yeah.
You
Or
know,
trying to get data. Like, I mean, I go to the track every Friday if it's not raining. So, like, if I'm at an event, I don't care. I'm gonna ship the car. Like, I'm trying to get all the info as possible. Like, data is gold to me. Like, anything I can get and get a log and see what's going on, it's and then review it the next day or that day it's the best information ever. Like, it learns so much. It's unbelievable. Every pass teaches me a lot. It's a learning curve. And how else you gonna learn if you don't try?
that's for sure.
Yep.
Well, Rafe, one thing that I thought would be fun this year is to ask people: is there anybody that you want to call out this season? Anybody that you just want to beat, whether in the Mitsubishi world or outside?
Nah, I'll be honest, that's not me. Like, I try to keep myself humble, man, and I try to stay off any like social media about anything about call outs or any negativity. And, if anyone wants to call me out, they're more than welcome to. But, like, I just stay in my lane, dude. You
Yeah,
know, I
yeah,
just like to go fast, but I see all these guys kind of hunting me down last year and this year I see, and I'm just waiting for someone to actually do it. So let's hope they do.
sure. And anybody who's even thinking about it, go ahead and bring it. It's Rafe love.
Yeah, yeah, I don't think people realize who they're dealing with here. Like, I will go sleep at the track for a couple of weeks. No one's getting that record. Put it that way. Ever. Ever.
Well, Rafe, where can people find and follow you on social media if they're not already?
I think you can go on Facebook at RT Motorsports, Instagram, or our website, rtmotorsports.com.
And a YouTube now, RRT Motorsports.
Yeah, YouTube at RT Motorsports. I mean, obviously, we're really busy at the shop. We never have time for social media, but like we're trying to get a little better at that. Try to post some updates. Like we do so much cool stuff here. We really should share some stuff. It's just we're constantly trying to hustle and make it work here, happen and get cars done.
Sure, especially when you have, like you said, as many customer cars as you do.
Exactly, and it's tough. It's a 13, 14 hour a day operation here. It gets tiring, so it's the last thing you want to do is like, oh, let's post this stuff, and it's like look at it, it's like, man, we do so much cool stuff. We really should share some stuff with the world.
Yeah. Well, Rafe, outside of racing, you're a family man, a shop owner. You have a lot going on. There's a lot of people behind you helping you out. Is there anybody that you want to give a thanks or a shout out to?
I mean, none of this would be possible without all my fans and all my customers. Without them, like if they're not here supporting me, like I couldn't do any of this. We do what we do. Try to prove ourselves so we can get these customers to come. Trust us with their cars. Without them, we're nobody. So they are our number one fans and best supporters. And then obviously, like huge shout out to my family and friends. Like without them, like yeah, I would not be here. They support me from day one, and you know they're always there for me. And obviously all our sponsors and everybody, like we got great people that always help us out. Like we got Manly, Wisegull, like Apex Turbos, which they've been awesome. GSC, Kigley, like Magnus, Multec, John Reed, hooking us up with all the Multecs and all this stuff. Wayland Speed, our fab guy, Victor Texteria, PPG, like, I'm sure I'm forgetting a bunch of people, but they're always there to help us out, man. Like, they love the sport just like we do, and we're a good team.
Yeah, for sure. A great team.
Yeah. Yeah, great team. It's always good to like, surround yourself with people that believe in.
Yeah. Well, Ray, I know you're a busy man. I don't want to take up too much of your time. Like you said, you're trying to get the Evo 8 ready for the track. So I just want to say thank you for taking the time to come on here and share the story of your Evo 10. And I can't wait to see both cars back in action and to see you in person here soon.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, we're gonna try to get the Evo 10 out probably while in the valley, so get people to come out there and check it out. So it'll be the whole car will be redone. I mean, obviously same power stuff, but we're probably gonna turn it up there, and with the whole new safety equipment we got in there, so we're probably not gonna be scared to turn it up to kill mode. So come out there and watch the car.
For sure. If you're not planning on going to Wild in the Valley, you're wrong. Get it on your calendar.
Yeah, no, yeah, definitely got to go there. So we're gonna try to make it a banger.
Yep. All right.
Awesome.
Have a great night, man. Thank you.
Hey, thank you. Take care.
Thank you for listening to the MitsuTimes podcast. Check out our Instagram and Facebook for daily updates. Get added to our list by going to MitsuTimes.org and clicking Submit a Slip. Thank you to all of our sponsors.